The 1 Year Bible. Today is day 109 in a row of our daily read from the 1 Year Bible. 109 days in a row. Today is technically April the 16th, but we're 2 days early. So we're reading from April the 18th. Nice page flip. There we go. Great page flip. Great page flip. Flip right to the page. Let's get situated here. Make some space. Hey, what's up, Papa? How you doing, bro? Before we get into tonight's word chat, we're going to read this verse here. It's from Luke 19:10. Luke 19:10. It goes like this. The Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost. And tonight's words for the night is going to come from Joshua 16:1-18. Verse 28. We're following it up with Luke 19:1-27. Psalms 87:1-7, and then Proverbs 13, verse 11. Okay. It's day 109 in a row. I'm playing natural disaster survival. Alright. I got oofed by getting flung just now a minute ago with me and my brother. We were playing. That's crazy. I gotta look that game up because it sounds fun. It sounds fun. Alright. It's day 109 in a row. 109 days in a row is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. 109 days in a row is pretty cool. I've never done anything like it before, except for living. But other than just living, I've never done nothing 109 times in a row. So this is pretty cool, not gonna lie. But Joshua, let's get into our read tonight though. It's Joshua 16:1-18, and in verse 28. Right. So the allotment for the descendants of Joseph extended from the Jordan River near Jericho, east of the springs of Jericho, through the wilderness and into the hill country of Bethel. From Bethel, that is Luz, it ran over to Ataroth in the territory of Echrites. Then it descended westward through the territory of the Japhilites, as far as lower Beth Haran, then to Gezer, and over to the Mediterranean Sea. This was the homeland allotted to the families of Joseph's sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. The following territory was given to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. The boundary of their homeland began at Ataroth Adar in the east. From there it ran to upper Beth Horon, then on to the Mediterranean Sea. From Mikmethath on the north, the boundary curved eastward past Tanath Shiloh, to the east of Jonah. From Jonah, it turned southward to Arad and Nara, touched Jericho, and ended at the Jordan River. From Tapua the boundary extended westward, following the Kanaf ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. In addition, hey, what's up, Troxon? I hope you feel better, bro. In addition, some towns with their surrounding villages in the territory allocated to the half tribe of Manasseh were set aside for the tribe of Ephraim. They did not drive the Canaanites out of the Gezer. However, so the people of Gezer live as slaves among the people of Ephraim to this day. The next allotment of land was given to the half-tribe of Manasseh. The descendants of Joseph's older son, Machir, the firstborn son of Manasseh, was the father of Gilead. Because his descendants were experienced soldiers, the region of Gilead and Bashan on the east side of the Jordan had already given to them. So the allotment on the west side of Jordan was for the remaining families within the clans of the tribe of Manasseh. Abizer, Helek, Ashrel, Shechem, Hefer, and Shemitah. These clans represent the male descendants of Manasseh's son of Joseph. However, Zepholam, a descendant of Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons. He only had daughters, whose names were Mahal, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tisra. These women came to Eliezer the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the Israelites, leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us a grant of land, along with the men of our tribe." So Joshua gave them a grant of land, along with their uncles, as the Lord had commanded. As a result, Manasseh's total allocation came to 10 parcels of land, in addition to the land of Gilead and Bashan across the Jordan River. Because the female descendants of Manasseh received the grant of land, along with the male descendants, the land of Gilead was given to the rest of the male descendants of Manasseh. And then the boundary of the tribe of Manasseh extended from the border of Asher to Mikmetheth, near Shechem. Then the boundary went south from Mikmetheth to the settlement near the spring of Tapua. The land surrounding Tapua belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tapua itself, on the border of Manasseh's territory, belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. From the spring to Tapua, the boundary of Manasseh followed the Kana ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. Several towns south of the ravine were inside Manasseh's territory, but it actually belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. In general, however, the land south of the, he's probably fishing right now, ravine belonged to Ephraim, and the land north of the ravine belonged to Manasseh. Manasseh's boundary ran along the northern side of the ravine and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. North of Manasseh was the territory of Asher, and to the east was the territory of Issachar. The following towns within the territory of Issachar and Asher, however, were given to Manasseh: Beth Shan, Iblim, Dor, that is Nahorth Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, each with their surrounding settlements. But the descendants of Manasseh were unable to occupy these towns because the Canaanites were determined to stay in the region. Later, however, when the Israelites became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves, but they did not drive them out of the land. The descendants of Joseph came to Joshua and asked, "Why have you given us only the portion of land as our homeland when the Lord has blessed us with so many people?" Joseph replied, "If there are so many of you, and if the hill country of Ephraim is not large enough for you, clear out the land for yourselves in the forest where the Perizzites and the Rephaites live." The descendants of Joseph responded, "It is true that the hill country is not large enough for us, but all the Canaanites in the lowlands have iron chariots, both those in Bethshan and the surrounding settlements, and those in the valley of Jezreel, they are too strong for us." Then Joshua said to the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, "The descendants of Joseph, since you are so large and strong, you will give him more than one portion. The forest of the hill country will be yours as well. Clear as much land of the land as you wish, and take possession of its farthest corners. And you will too drive out the Canaanites from the valleys, even though they are strong and have iron chariots." Now that the land was under Israelite control, the entire community of Israel gathered at Shiloh and set up the tabernacle. But there remained 7 tribes who had not yet been allotted their grants of land. Then Joshua asked them, "How long are you going to wait before taking possession of the remaining land the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Select 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out to explore the land and map it out for you. They will then return to me with a written report of their proposed divisions of their new homeland." Hold on, give me 1 second, chat. I'm going to raise my desk real quick. How you doing, Luis? How you doing, Luis? Let me move my power supply real quick. Raise my desk. Yo, be quiet, bro. I'm just raising my desk. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. This is a lot easier to read like this. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let them divide the land into 7 sections, excluding Judah's territory in the south and Joseph's territory in the north. And when you record the 7 divisions of the land and bring them to me, I will cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord our God to assign land to each tribe. The Levites, however, will not receive any allotment of land. Their role as priests of the Lord is their allotment. And the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and the half the tribe of Manasseh won't receive any more land, for they have already received the grant of land. Which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them on the east side of the Jordan River. As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua commanded them, "Go and explore the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I will assign the land to the tribes by casting sacred lots here in the presence of the Lord at Shiloh." The men did as they were told and mapped the entire territory into 7 sections, listing the towns in each section. They made a written record and then returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. And there at Shiloh, Joshua cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord to determine which tribe should have each section. The first allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. It lay between the territory assigned to the tribes of Judah and Joseph. And the northern boundary of Benjamin's land began at the Jordan River, went north of the slope of Jericho, then west through the hill country and the wilderness of Beth Aven. From the boundary, went south to Luz, that is Bethel, and proceeded down to Ataroth Ador, on the hill that lies south of Lower Beth of Horon. Their boundary then made a turn and swung along the western edge of the hill facing Beth Horon, ending at the village of Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a town belonging to the tribe of Judah. This was the western boundary, the southern boundary. Then the southern boundary began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim. From the western point, it ran to the spring at the waters of Natoah, and down to the base of the mountain beside the valley of Beth Hinnom, at the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. From there it went down the valley of Hinnom, crossing south of the slope where the Jebusites lived, and continued down to En Rogel. From En Rogel, the boundary proceeded in a northerly direction and came to En Shemesh, on on to Gililoth, which is across from the slopes of Adumim. Then it went down to the stone of Bohan. Bohan was Reuben's son. From there it passed along the north side of the slope, overlooking the Jordan Valley. The border then went into the valley, ran past the northern slope of Beth Hoglah, and ended at the north bay of the Dead Sea, which is the southern end of the Jordan River. This was the southern boundary. The eastern boundary was the Jordan River. These were the boundaries of the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. These were the towns given to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin: Jericho, Beth Hoglah, Emek Keziz, Beth Araba, Zerum, Bethel, Avim Parah, Oprah, Kepra Almani, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns with the surrounding villages, also Gibeon, Ramah, Beruth, Mizpah, Kerah, Moza, Rekem, Irpel, Tarala, Zela, Halef, the Jebusite town, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, Kiriath Jearim, 14 towns with the surrounding villages. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. And now, Luke 19, 1-27. So Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to get a good look at Jesus. He was too short to see over the crowd, so he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took to Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. "He is going to be a guest of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord, and I have cheated people on their taxes. I will give them back 4 times as much." Jesus responded, "Salvation has come to this house today, for this man has shown himself to be a true man of the son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost." The crowd was listening to everything Jesus said, and because he was nearing Jerusalem, he told them a story to correct the impression that the kingdom of God would begin right away. He said, "A nobleman was called away to a distant empire to be crowned king and then return. Before he left, he called together 10 of his servants and divided among them 10 pounds of silver, saying, 'Invest this for me while I am gone.' But his people hated him and sent a delegation after him to say, 'We do not want him to be our king.' After he was crowned king, he returned and called in the servants to whom he had given the money. He wanted to find out what the profits were. The first servant reported, 'Master, I invested your money and I made 10 times the original amount.' 'Well done,' the king exclaimed. 'You are a good servant. You have been faithful with the little I entrusted to you, so you'll be governor of 10 cities as your reward.' The next servant reported, 'Master, I invested your money and made 5 times the original amount.' 'Well done,' the king said. 'You'll be governor of over 5 cities.' But the third servant brought back only the original amount of money and said, 'Master, I hid your money and kept it safe. I was afraid because you are a hard man to deal with. Take away what isn't yours and harvest the crops you didn't plant.' 'You wicked servant,' the king roared. 'Your own words condemn you. If you knew that I am a hard man who takes what isn't mine and harvests crops I didn't plant, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it.' Then turning to the others standing nearby, the king ordered, 'Take the money from the servant and give it to the one who has 10 pounds. But master,' they said, 'he already has 10 pounds. 'Yes,' the king replied, 'and to those who use well what they are given, even more will be given. But for those who do nothing, even with what little they have, will be taken away. And as for those enemies of mine who didn't want to be their king, bring them in and execute them right here in front of me.'" And now, Psalms 87, 1-7. On the holy mountain stands the city founded by the Lord. He loves the city of Jerusalem more than any other city in Israel. O city of God, what glorious things are said of you. I will count Egypt and Babylon among those who know me, and Philistia and Tyre, and even distant Ethiopia. They have all become citizens of Jerusalem. Regarding Jerusalem, it will be said everyone enjoys the rights of citizenship here. And the Most High will personally bless his city. When the Lord registers the nations, he will say, they have all become citizens of Jerusalem. The people will play flutes and sing, the source of my life springs from Jerusalem. And now in Proverbs 13:11. Wealth from get rich quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. And now, get rich quick, get poor quicker. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? Scroll up in chat. Hold up. Hey, thank you for that, Luis. Oh, Flip, I'm sorry to hear that. My grandma passed recently. He's probably fishing right now. Yeah, he probably is. He probably caught a bass. What kind of fish did your grandpa like to catch? You know, what was his favorite kinds of fish to catch? You know, he's probably up there catching his favorite kinds of fish, the biggest ones. You know, the only ones that are like the best to like keep, right? You know, probably having a great time, enjoying his day. You know, but get rich, get poor quicker, and that's the title of today's extended verse, right? So it's working hard day after day with diligence and persistence is not easy. We men want to roam and explore and discover. We are a bit vulnerable to promises of quick success and massive wealth with little effort. That ship might actually come in, but unless you are the rare exception, that ship will sink quite rapidly. One of the marks of a godly man is the ability to stay connected in the present while planning for the future. Quick fix or lasting wealth, you get to decide. And that's a great little ending word there. And I'm going to turn off this camera and I'm going to ask for clarity and wisdom. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Those kind of take longer and longer, huh? And we're just going to end it off with this last verse here, right? So one of the marks of a godly man is the ability to stay connected in the present while planning for the future. Quick fix or lasting wealth, you get to decide. I feel like that's a great summation of the word for today. Are you staying in the present moment, but do you also have an idea for the future? You know, are you here right now, but also have an idea for the future? And are you looking for a quick fix or lasting wealth? You get to decide. I feel like that's a great word, a great end of the word today, man. Great end to the word today. Great end to the word, day 109. I feel like it was a great end. Are you looking for a quick fix or lasting wealth? Lasting wealth, definitely. That's my answer. Okay, we're gonna wrap up today's word, chat. Thank y'all for joining me on today's read. And little man wants to say see you later too as well. You know, he likes to be in the camera. He likes the attention. He loves the attention, right? But what we got, dude? We all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the likes on the streams. Thank you for the subscriptions. And I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow on the next episode of the 1 Year Bible and whatever else we have in store for you guys. But y'all have a great one. And we out. Peace. Right? Peace. 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 Say see you later.